Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here. Welcome to the channel for an update on galagames. So I was looking at some Elliott wave theory on galagames and I've noticed a very interesting pattern called a WXY double free structure. Now previously when I was looking at GALA, I was looking at macro ABC corrections, I was looking at higher time frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave corrections, and none of the typical Elliott wave theories seem to match this. However, I've been looking at quite a few different altcoins recently. I've also seen the same pattern playing out in Solana right now, and for this video for GALA I wanted to talk about once again this WXY double free Elliott wave pattern that I do see playing out for galagames, and I will also give you my exact price target on where I do think this is going. Now first of all, right off the back, what is a WXY double free structure and how does this differentiate from your typical ABC zigzag? So I'm sure if you know anything about Elliott wave theory, you've all seen the typical A, B, C corrections. These are your standard zigzag patterns. If we do look over here, you can see, you've got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave into your A, correctory A, B, C, up to your higher time frame B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down into your C. And if you're removing this micro wave count, you've simply just got an A, B, C pattern. This is a zigzag over here. You can see how this zigzag beautifully played out from GALA's top down here, A, B, C. And we also, in my opinion, will have another zigzag playing out from here. So, we topped out round about 7.2 cent for galagames in August. You can see, if you want to count the individual waves, you can. I'm not going to be counting the micro waves for this video, but you can see, a very, very big A and a very, very big B wave back up to the upside. Now, I should say that for this pattern to remain valid, you would not want to see the top of the previous C wave or this X wave get taken out, which I will talk about in 1 second. So really for GALA, keep your eyes on about 7.3 cent. This is of course a very big move above our heads, but you do have to remember for this video, we're really looking at the higher time frames for this Elliott wave move. So like I said, you all know what zigzags are, A, B, C pattern, and this in my opinion should end up being an A, B with a C wave ending round about this region. Once again, I'll give you my exact price target at the end. But then when you have a WXY double free structure, this is where things become slightly different because you don't have free zigzags. And the reason why this is called a double free structure is because you have 3 ABC patterns, but you only have 2, hence the name double zigzags. So you've got 2 ABCs, and in the middle, you have something called an any free. Now for Solana, just showing you another example of how this is played out. You can see over here, we bottomed at $26 for Solana. We had an A wave up to 48, B wave to 27, and your C wave didn't even take out the A wave. So a lot of the time when you do have an any free structure, a lot of the time they're not ABC patterns in the sense that they move up like this. Sometimes they can be slanted. For example, for this one, you had your A wave, your B wave broke beneath this C wave, and then your C wave up here bottom beneath this A wave. So the main takeaway from this is as long as you've got an ABC structure within this any free, and as long as it starts forming out another zigzag pattern, this is a valid WXY double free structure. So you can see A, B, C, that is the zigzag complete. If we come over to this any free pattern, you can see we had lows established over here around about 4.9 cent. We had a move up, so once again lows here, we pushed up to A, or if you're looking at the low from here, on the daily time frame, you can see the low was here, and you push back up to A. You can see we came down and formed a B, and we finished this ABC correction pattern round about 7.2 cent for galagames. Now, once again, it looks like we should be starting a new zigzag pattern, a new ABC, and this is where the final part, the WXY, comes in. So with the WXY, you can see the WXY basically moves like another huge zigzag pattern. So if we're looking at typical ABC structure, ignoring the microwaves, you can see your macro ABC. And because we're looking at a zigzag ABC, because we're looking at a any free ABC, and then you're looking at another ABC, it'd be a bit of a mouthful to have another ABC on that, so you have this called a WXY. So you've got 2 zigzag ABCs, you've got an any free ABC, and instead of just calling this macro one another ABC, we call it a WXY pattern, which is very similar to just another ABC zigzag pattern in the higher time frame. So This is really the nail in the coffin, the cherry on top of the cake. But as you can see here, you know, galagames topped out. And if we're looking on the weekly time frame, this is probably the best way to draw this. If we come over here, you can see, you know, we topped out right here. You finished your first ABC structure down here. You finished your second ABC structure here, which was a any free. Before, this was a zigzag. This is an any free. And according to this Elliott wave theory, according to this WXY pattern, this should be, after we've topped out at X, another ABC pattern down to Y. And if we do pull up this chart, just once again, wrapping up the video before I do give you my price targets, you can count the individual waves if you want, but once again, after we've topped out at C up here, or also known as wave X if you're looking at the WXY, we've completed the first zigzag, we've completed the any free, and now we should be starting this next zigzag pattern. So once again, this Elliott wave pattern is only valid if you do manage to stay beneath this box right here. I'll mark this red as resistance right now, because if we do break above this level, if we do break above 7.3 cent, you can imagine this is going to be your invalidation zone. It doesn't particularly have a drawing of this over on the chart, but you should not be taking out wave X on the B wave, which, as you can see, you know, you would have broken down into wave A, which we have done, correct. We should have had a big impulse up for wave B, which we have done, correct. And wave B should not exceed the previous wave C or wave X. So as long as we stay beneath 7.3 cent in the higher time frames, this could be a beautiful WXY double free pattern playing out. So keep your eyes on this. We should be turning around soon. Now, I don't really want to talk too much about any other TA, oscillators, or anything like that. I do cover Gala games occasionally on my channel, and in the last video, we made a 15-minute video purely focused on volume profiles, moving averages, TA, SFP sweeps, oscillators, all that good stuff. So I will, you know, like I said, really keep this video focused on Elliott wave theory, but just checking out the oscillators very, very quickly so you've got something else to go on. On the daily time frame, squeeze momentum indicator is ticking into dark green, indicative that bulls are losing control. This was a huge run to the upside, and this does look like we're going to be forming a bar pattern before breaking back down, of course, topping out on this B wave and heading down to the C wave. MFI, looking at the money flow index, is literally higher than it was when we basically topped out on the 18th of November 2021. As you can see, this was the top for Gala, around about 85 cent. We're now sitting at 5 cent, and liquidity flew in so quickly. It's not only the lower time frames. On the weekly time frame, the MFI is basically an all-time high, up at 82 right now. Super overextended. The MFI, the money flow index, is like the RSI, but it also takes into account volume. So we've had a huge move up in the relative strength. We've had an overextension in volume, an overextension in liquidity, and also weekly time frame for the squeeze momentum indicator. You can see this is ticking into light green. The last time this happened, the last time we managed to move from an ungodly bearish trend, as you can see, all the way down here, this was absolutely disgustingly brutal for Gala games. What happened afterwards is we had a bounce back up that, you know, from this low, we bounced for, you know, a couple of months or so. And if we do look at the MFI, or sorry, the squeeze momentum indicator, you can see we very momentarily ticked into light green right here before nuking to the downside. And we are once again ticking into light green over on the squeeze momentum indicator while we're in a bear market. So we're extremely overextended. I'm also, like I said, I've been looking at this WXY pattern, not something I typically cover. I don't always look at Elliott wave theory, but I'm starting to notice this very intricate Elliott wave pattern, which is a very good performer. A much better performer than 5-wave structures, much better performers than macro ABC corrections. This is one of the best Elliott wave patterns that I do use, and it is playing out on so many altcoins right now. So what is my exact price target? Not based on Elliott waves, because I'm not the biggest fan of drawing, you know, Fibonacci's. If you do want, you know, Elliott wave targets, it says down here if you're going to be using Fibonacci extensions. I'm, like I said, not the biggest fan of these. I prefer to look at where the liquidity is in the market. I prefer to look at fibs based on other structures that I do find more important. But nonetheless, if we are looking at the most recent run-up from the low to the high, you can see that we are presented with a 1.236 Fibonacci down here at approximately 6 cents. Now, on the channel, I do always say this, I like to take things one price target at a time, so 6 cents is not my price target right now. There was a lot of listings all the way down here at 1 cent, KuCoin, Binance, tons of exchanges started listing at these prices, and if we are looking at this Fibonacci right here. It's a little bit hard to see. You can't actually see it on the weekly time frame. You might be wondering, you know, how on earth is this drawn? If we come over to the daily, you can now see it. It is drawn from this low down here, and we had a huge impulse all the way back up. And with this, if we do zoom out, once again, pulling up this fib, as you can see, you know, the 1.236 was a huge support that we did bounce up on. We came up and grabbed liquidity from this volume profile, and we're currently sitting at this volume profile once again. But the next fib target, so this fib target was respected. As you can see, this was strong resistance on the weekly time frame before breaking back above it and heading up to the 1, which we're currently sitting at right now. So we know this fib has been well respected. The next fib target over here is 1 cent. This is a listing price for Binance. This is a listing price for KuCoin. This is your 1.618 Fibonacci. This is a huge psychological level. 1 cent, in my opinion, is going to be the major price target to keep your eyes on. This is about a 79% drop from where we are right now. I know, very brutal to hear, especially if you are a galagames fan. But nonetheless, this is a very important Elliott wave pattern, and it seems to be playing out in a lot of the markets. Keep your eyes on Bitcoin as well, specifically because the likelihood of galagames nuking really depends on how Bitcoin closes. If we come over to the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, very quickly before wrapping up the video, you can see this macro trend line that we are currently sitting above at this moment in time. A couple of days ago, we did break out of it. Of course, daily time frame doesn't really matter with such a huge downtrend like this. You'd really be wanting to look for a weekly candle body close above or below this structure, depending on whether you're bullish or bearish. But of course, looking at things objectively, sitting on the sidelines right now is probably a smart thing to do. 22,700 is where this trend line comes in on the weekly time frame. If Bitcoin closes beneath 22,700, if it does something like this and then closes the weekly candle at 22,500, 22,400, 300, etc., if we're beneath 22,700, it's very likely Bitcoin starts nuking very quickly. And with that, this WXY double free Elliott wave structure would be starting to pop into fruition. Once again, we've got one final zigzag to go to the downside. A lot of people hate on me whenever I predict a bearish price target for galagames. However, according to this pattern, this will be the last zigzag correction before the bottom's in. So take that into consideration. I only cover galagames because it is something that I do want to buy into the next cycle. However, this zigzag pattern on this Elliott wave WXY is telling us that we've just completed wave A. We're probably about to top out on wave B. And when we do head down to wave C, there's going to be a lot of interest down at 1 cent. So that's all I've got for you for this video, my friends. As always, if you enjoy the content, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. And if you do want more of my charts, posts, memes, economic data, more about my, personal life, then be sure to follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy. But for today, that's all I've got for you. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.